Morning, 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 morning. Welcome to another episode of Tie 2 for Sports. Tie 2 for Sports. So we're gonna get the college football playoff situated by I believe 1 o'clock today or noon today. So look out for that on ESPN. I think it's 1 o'clock. And they'll also announce the bowl game. So I may be back on to analyze the bowl games, and also I'll be doing film reviews of upcoming freshmen for 2025. The signing day was just this past week, early signing day, but there's still some uncommitted guys. But most of the top 200 to 300 guys are already signed to their schools, and the transfer portal is also opening officially on Monday. But it's a lot of guys hopping in the transfer portal as we speak. But congratulations to all the conference winners yesterday. Clemson at the go-ahead field goal at the end over SMU. Uh, We also got who do we have? We got Oregon. They impressed against Penn State, but so did Penn State. Penn State showed offense that I didn't think they had, and Oregon showed both these teams showed defense and offense. Don't be fooled by the score. They actually showed that they can probably compete, depending on the teams, the matchups that Penn State get. They can make it to the national championship. I'm not saying they'll win, but depending on the bracket, they may be able to do some things against SEC teams and all. And then special shout out to Boise State. Definitely Arizona State takes the cake because they won in blowout fashion. So I don't want to hear anything about the Big 12, this, that. Big 12 has several ranked teams, and Arizona State now comes out at 11-2, having a bye week, going into that second round of the playoffs. But let's get to the NFL picks. Always, please donate to the dollar sign TY Rebel 22 Cash App. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at TY24 Sports. But we got the Titans -2.5. We got the Dolphins -2.5. The Vikings money line, Saints money line. We also have the Eagles money line, Pittsburgh money line. I got Tampa Bay -6.5. San Francisco money line, and then I got Kansas City to handle that rivalry against the Chargers on Sunday night with the money line. Now, speaking of the college football playoff, I got to make one adjustment because I just thought about something. But this is going to be my version of what I think they're going to do. But I'm going to fix that Bama thing. I did say Bama, but know what? I think they're going to do right by SMU. And that'll fix the whole Miami, Ole Miss, South Carolina thing. Get Bama out of there. No three-loss team should get in over a team that almost won, came back, and it was 31-34 or something like that, or 28-30. No, I think it's 31-34. SMU comes back with all that offense and defense. SMU just kind of was, I guess, new to the stage, but they showed up against Clemson. I think the way it should be, I'm not sure it's going to be this way, but I feel like the CFP should be Oregon 1, Georgia 2, Arizona State 3, because the conference champs get the bye weeks. And I'm going to go with Boise State 4. But I want Clemson to get the top seed and get a home game as far as being the ACC champ in the first round. I'm not going to put them over Boise because Clemson is 10-3, Boise is 12-1, I believe. And Boise went to the wire with Oregon. They beat UNLV twice. They beat a lot of ranked teams, Power 4 teams. So Boise, they've really shown they can compete, and they have the history. Like, let's not forget about Boise and TCU over the years. They're not like new to the party. Okay, ask Oklahoma. Penn State, because they just went up against Oregon and performed well, I would give them the next top seed as far as a home game. Because 5, 6, 7, and 8 get home games, 9 through 12 are on the road. So I would go with Texas. I know people may be upset, but I think Texas should get a home game, being the SEC runner-up. Some people may debate maybe Texas falls back and you give it to Indiana. I wouldn't give it to Ohio State after that Michigan game. They can't get a home game. Maybe you flip it, maybe get it to Tennessee. I'm not sure. Notre Dame at 8 definitely gets a home game. And then going on the road, I would have Indiana going to Clemson. That's probably even match. That's gonna come down to coaching. I would have Tennessee going to Penn State. I don't know how Tennessee's gonna deal with that weather, but this is what I was talking about. The college football playoff is gonna be a lot like NFL playoffs. That old 14 playoff, that wasn't a playoff. It was neutral sites, which the rest of the playoff will be. But at least the wild card round or the at-large round 1, will be on the site of the actual colleges. But let's move on. Now we got Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee going to Penn State. Then I would have number 11, Ohio State going to Texas. That's a big game as far as names, but both of those teams are kind of beat up. I would probably favor Texas in a matchup like that. You know, you never know. Then I would have the 12th seed instead of Bama. Let's go with SMU. They just performed well against Clemson in that ACC championship, going to Notre Dame. I'm favoring SMU because of the athleticism, but Notre Dame is going to probably be the favorite because it's at home in the cold weather, but they just played in cold weather in Carolina. It's not as cold as Indiana, South Bend, but I think that would be the perfect playoff to me. You don't have to deal with the Bama and the Ole Miss and Miami debate. People that lost, two one or two of their last three games. Let's go with a team like SMU that ended the season 11-1 and then almost was 12-1 if it wasn't for a field goal against a good Clemson team. I think their resume, including them going to a conference championship, supersedes a 3-loss SEC team. We already have enough SEC teams. You got Georgia, you got Tennessee, you got Texas. That's enough. Because another thing, I went to an SEC school, but what a lot of people don't understand, if you have an over representation of SEC or Big Ten, even with the Indiana thing, and they get blown out, that can decrease the chances in the future when you have qualified 10-win teams. That's what I feel like. I feel like you should win at least 10 wins, 10 games, whether it's in the conference championship or not qualifying for the conference championship. 10 wins should be the bar for the college football playoff, unless we don't have enough 10-win teams, which that'll never happen. I feel like 10 wins gets you in the playoffs. That's how it is in the NFL. And I know this isn't the NFL, but still, I think you win 10 out of 12 or 10 out of 13, I can respect that. But a 9-3 team does not belong inside a playoff unless they won their conference championship, in a case of Clemson, because they still got 10 wins. But that's all I have to say about that right now. Also, I'm very upset that they're showing like blatant hate towards Miami, not only dropping Miami out the playoff, which I feel like was egregious, but also basically eliminating Cam Ward from the Heisman chase when it's always been a quarterback award. Okay, maybe he doesn't win it, but it's like it's just Travis Hunter and Ashton Genty, and then on top of that, it's like they're trying to throw other quarterbacks in the hat in the race. And I think it's just highly disrespectful because Cam Ward wasn't your average quarterback. He's arguably one of the greatest college quarterbacks ever when you look at those comebacks he's made, just the flawless performances he's had. Cam Ward is when we look back on it, he's one of the greatest college quarterbacks I've ever seen. Like he really dictates games for real. But let's get to the NBA picks. So now we got the Bulls money line. I got the Bucks money line, Pacers money line. I got the Heat for the upset against Cleveland, but it's really not an upset to me. I think the Heat are a bad matchup for Cleveland, especially when the Heat are at home. And then I got the Magic. I believe in Magic today. We believe in God, but we believe in the Orlando Magic. Okay. All right, now college basketball. I got Richmond plus 30.5. I don't think they'll lose by that much to Auburn. Okay, I got Purdue money line, Kansas money line. I have Texas A&M money line, and then I got Duke money line. Yeah, so that's gonna be my picks for today. Let me bring up really quick. Let me see if it'll add. Okay, yeah. So this is on 3, I believe. Showing the bracket, what they think it'll be. Okay, so now I gotta bring it back. Just give me a second. I hate when stuff like that happens. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, here we go. So they're kind of agreeing with me. They don't have Bama in it. I don't have Bama in it either. They got Oregon 1, Georgia 2. They have Boise State 3 and Arizona State 4. I don't believe that. I saw Arizona State and they were impressive yesterday. I would flip those two teams. But I would leave Clemson out. I want Clemson at that 5 spot instead of Ohio State. I don't think Ohio State belongs in that 5 spot, especially not over Penn State that just played for the conference championship. Like, Ohio State looked horrible against Michigan. You got Notre Dame 6. I'm not mad at that for them getting the home game, and SMU was going to Notre Dame, so I got that one right. The Tennessee and Penn State thing, didn't I have that as one of my picks? I believe. Let me pull it back up. My picks in on 3, because this isn't official. This is just what on 3 thinks, but they have probably insight. So I got Notre Dame and hosting SMU. Who else do I have? I got Texas hosting Ohio State. They have Ohio State actually being the top host and hosting Clemson, which I think should be egregious. Clemson should have that 5 spot as the next conference champ. That's how I feel like it should go. People keep saying that conference champ shouldn't get auto bids. Well, they're stupid. That's the whole point of being the divisions or conferences. These are really divisions. The conference really, there is no conference, but if this is a league of college football, it's just like college football. I mean, NFL football, NBA, high school football. You win your district, you win your division, you get a bye week. That's the whole point of being in conferences. Winners should be rewarded. I don't care if you had a great record in your conference. If you didn't win, then what makes you think you deserve to be about get a bye week and you couldn't even win your own conference? You lucky to even be in the playoff. You know, it's a lot of arrogance. And then, you know, they want to host home games. I feel like once you lose your conference, you know, people that win should get rewarded. I don't care about strength of schedule, strength. Well, it's not gonna matter because first of all, we all gonna play each other and we're gonna see, you know. But again, if you don't win your conference and you're rewarded, then what's the point of being in a conference? Everybody might as well just go independent if that's the case. They want to make up rules for college football that doesn't exist in any other sport. But let's get back to it. Okay, so all right, so I'm gonna just go to first round matchups. So I got Clemson hosting so I'm wrong. So it would be a rematch. I'm actually wrong. That would be a rematch. I don't want to see a rematch. So okay, fine. But I have Clemson hosting SMU because it would be 5 hosting 12. That's how it goes from the best to the sorries. Okay, so 5 will be hosting 12. They have Ohio State hosting Clemson. So Clemson is involved in that 5 versus 12, just flip. Okay, then I have Penn State hosting Ohio State. Another rematch. I wouldn't want to see that. Okay, so they have Notre Dame hosting SMU, but it's the 6 against 11. I have the same matchup, I think, but I have it 8 and 9. Okay, so let's go 7 against 10. I got Texas hosting Tennessee, so that would be an SEC matchup that we didn't get to see. They have Texas at 7, so I got that one right. Hosting Indiana, which would be their number 10. Okay, and then with the 8 versus 9, I'm wrong. I had Notre Dame versus Indiana. So that would be a state rivalry that never gets played because they're both from the state of Indiana. They have Tennessee hosting Penn State. So we'll see how it turns out, man. So it's gonna be a big selection Sunday. We're gonna see how the playoff turns out. I think a lot of these people campaigning against the ACC, against the Big 12. That Big 12 thing is asinine because first of all, they're saying who played ranked teams or not. The ranks are all arbitrary. They're not how they. If you go look back in the past, ranks were very much about record. Now all of a sudden they want to have SEC and Big Ten bias. Now it's not about the record anymore. It's about strength of schedule. But my thing is, unless they come up with a rule, since it's 4 Power 4 conferences, right? But you eliminate yourself. You got 8 conference games to make up the 12, and then you got 4 non-conference games. 1, 2, 3. So let's say you're an SEC team. You should play 1 ACC, 1 Big 12, 1 Big 10, and then 1 sorry school. That would make up this argument, and we will see what's the better conference year in and year out. Because I don't even believe it's the same every year. You know, we say the SEC, but just in general, like they saying Big 10, this, that, and the third. You got to prove that on the field. If everybody has a format where, let's say you're a Big 10 team, Penn State, you play a Auburn, you play a Colorado, and then in the ACC you play a Miami. Then we have something that we can go off to see these teams. But to just say, oh, I think the Big 10 is better, SEC is better, such and such is better. We saw a Big 12 team in TCU 2 years ago destroy Michigan, the undefeated Big 10 champ. Then we saw one or technically 2 SEC teams get in the playoff last year, Bama and Texas. And that's why I definitely don't want Bama in, because they just got a chance last year to get in over a team with a better record than Florida State, and Bama lost. So we're not going to let you in again and you lose. That's why Ohio State kind of fell off in Oklahoma. You don't remember it in a mid-2000s, 2008, 2006, 2007, even back to 2003. Ohio State and Oklahoma kept going to national championships and kept losing and getting blown out just based off of their names. We got to get out of this thing where we want to crown people based off of their names. This is not a lifetime achievement award. It's what you did today. If we went off the past in the NFL, then the Kansas City Chiefs would have never got a chance based on their history, all the losing they had. But now with Mahomes, they're not the same Chiefs. They're not the Trent Green Chiefs anymore. So you got to get up with the times. Like even with SMU. SMU was a power in the 80s, but they were paying players, and I guess somebody dropped a dime on them. They disappeared. But SMU, if you ever heard of Craig James and Eric Dickerson, I almost gave him a made-up name. How can you say a program that produced Eric Dickerson doesn't belong in the playoffs? I love Bama, but I don't care. Maybe Derrick Henry, but Mark Ingram, Sean Alexander, nothing that came out of Alabama can ever touch Eric Dickerson. So I don't want to hear this blue blood, this, that, and look. Alabama lost 3 games. They lost 2 to 6-6 teams. They got blown out no longer than 2 weeks ago against Oklahoma. They're not going to win. If Alabama should pray they don't get in, because what's going to end up happening, right? They're going to let in the sorry SEC teams, the 3-loss, 4-loss teams, because that might be coming a 4-loss team, because that's how corrupt they are. And they're going to get embarrassed. And do you know what people going to start saying? Oh, the SEC ain't like that. No, the SEC is like that, but you still have to follow the rules. You know what I mean? You can't just move the goalposts because you want 4 or 5 teams out of your conference. No, if they're really like that, they would win the SEC. Because if you can't win the SEC, what make you think you deserve a national championship? That's retarded. That's like you can't win your division in the NFL or come in second place, but you mad that you don't get 5 wild card spots. We all know the AFC North, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, even Cleveland, they get upsets every now and then, the Ravens. But 9 times out of 10, they only going to get 2 teams in the playoffs. Maybe 3. Last year, I think they got 3. They got the Steelers. They got the Browns with Joe Flacco, which they gave up, which was dumb. No, not. Was it Joe? Yeah, Joe Flacco. And then they always had the Ravens with Lamar. But you can't complain in the NFL and say, oh, we're in the toughest division. We need to get all these teams in the playoffs. No, it comes down to did you win your games? And that's why I feel like they should make everybody play 3 non-conference games against the other Power 4 conferences. That will eliminate all of this he say, she say. And we go look at the end of the year and say, hey, the ACC has a winning record against the Big 10, or the Big 12 has a winning record against the SEC. Then guess what? I don't want to hear none of this. Oh, you hopping over this team, but this team hopping over you for such and such. Because now at this point, it's getting sickening. And look on my wall. I went to Ole Miss. They talk about, oh, go off of what Vegas say. Vegas is wrong all the time. Vegas didn't pick Ole Miss to beat Alabama in that game, or maybe they did. I don't remember. I think they had it close. Vegas, Boise State blowed us out. No. We beat Boise State. Okay, no, TCU blowed us out. Same year we played Alabama. And this was before opt-out, so I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, we didn't care about the bowl. No, that was a big bowl for us. I remember that. We were excited to be there, and we got embarrassed at the Peach Bowl. So just because you're in the SEC Big Ten, especially the Big Ten, they're not even an SEC league. Because if you want to be technical about it, the ACC, with Florida State and Clemson, has won more national championships in the last 10, 15 years than the Big Ten. I don't know where this whole Big Ten argument came from. It's really about the money and about corruption and people just trying to have their way. Because the Big Ten, if you want to be technical, they're the ones that started this whole SEC thing, because Ohio State kept going to national championship and getting blown out. 2006 against Florida. 2007 against LSU. They got embarrassed, and all that come from that championship they stole against Miami in 2002. So that's the end of my rant. But I'll probably be back later on when these bowl games get decided. I'll probably tell you who I think is going to win which bowl. But like, share, and subscribe. Put the picks in. I'm out.